The man who kidnapped my student wasn't a stranger. He was a ghost. My face went white when the father whispered, "That's my twin brother. He died 6 years ago. I've worked at the same daycare for 6 years. And Noah was different from day one. 4 years old with a stutter so severe. Other kids walked away from her before she even finished a sentence. She ate lunch alone every day until about 8 months ago, when I started sitting with her. We do puzzles together and practice her words slowly. She gave me a nickname in her language that I couldn't even pronounce right, but I answered to it anyway. So when a man walked in at 3:15 to pick her up, I did what I always do. I checked his ID. The name matched the approved list. He knew the password. Noah looked at him and walked right over without hesitating. I signed her out and gave her a little wave. 20 minutes later, the phone rang and a woman was screaming on the other end. "Who took my daughter? Who did you give her to?" I tried to explain that her husband picked her up. She cut me off mid-sentence. My husband is standing right next to me. My face went white. When police arrived, they pulled the security footage and the man's face was clear on camera. Mid-30s, clean-shaven, completely calm. They ran it through facial recognition and got nothing. He didn't exist in any system. The parents showed up together minutes later. The mother was barely standing, sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe. The father was silent with a face like stone. The detective turned a tablet toward them and asked if either of them recognized the man on screen. The mother shook her head. The father didn't answer. He just stood there frozen, staring at the footage like he was looking at a ghost. "Sir, do you know him?" His voice came out barely above a whisper. "That's my twin brother. He died 6 years ago." Police ran the name Owen Marsh. That certificate filed 6 years prior, but he never recovered. The detective asked the obvious question. "So either your brother faked his death or someone who looks exactly like him just took your daughter." The father shook his head slowly. "It's him." I watched the mother. She'd completely stopped crying, which seemed strange. The detective traced the ID. It was real. Issued 4 months ago in Nevada under the husband's name. This wasn't impulsive. This was planned. Then the mother's phone buzzed. She looked at the screen and her face changed, not fear. Something behind her eyes collapsed completely. The detective took the phone and read the message out loud. "She was always mine." You knew that. The father turned slowly toward his wife. The room went dead quiet. "Elise." His voice was different now. "What does he mean?" She wouldn't look at him. "What does he mean?" She started crying and suddenly everything came out. "We slept together." She yelled. The whole room froze. Around the time she got pregnant with Noah, I still don't know if you're the real father. The dad's face crumpled at once. He collapsed against the doorway and started dry heaving. Then finally, the dad stood up. Why did he fake his death? Elise, if he might be the dad, why didn't he fight? Why did he just disappear? She didn't answer. The father watched her for a long moment. Something shifted in his face. He turned away without another word. The detective walked up to him. "Do you have any idea where Owen would have taken the girl?" We all noticed how he said the girl instead of daughter. The dad cleared his throat. "There's a cabin near Lake Carmen. It's where Owen went." An hour passed in silence. The mother sat on one side of the room. The father sat on the other. Then the call came. The mother picked up and her legs gave out. She started screaming. "She's alive. They have her." I saw the father's shoulders drop with relief. The mom went to hug him, but he pushed her away and just kept staring at Noah's photo. They brought Noah back an hour later. The mother rushed forward, but Noah walked right past her. She saw me and ran over and grabbed my hand. "A miss." I went on an adventure. I pulled her in and held on tight. The mother stood frozen with her arms still outstretched. The father hadn't moved from his chair. Owen came through and handcuffs a few minutes later. When he passed the mother, he stopped. "You told me she was mine," he hissed. "You said if I ever came back, you'd tell him everything and he'd kill me. 6 years because you promised you'd protect our daughter if I stayed away." The father stood up slowly and just walked toward the door. He didn't look at his wife. He didn't look at anyone.